A lot of people thought we moved to Puerto Rico to start a code, but I promise you there's nothing weird going on down here.
What's your favorite part about living in Puerto Rico?
Like I said, not living in New York. We just are paying an insane amount of money to live in New York.
You know how they have the glass sections where you go into an ATM? There was a homeless guy in there smoking a blunt. And I was like, oh, things are changing here.
They were like, we want to get out of here.
Yo, we're gonna be moved to Puerto Rico. I was like, get the out of here.
Is this gonna be good or not? And you know, moving a country, that's a big, big break in routine.
It's a Puerto Rican lifestyle, man. That's it. Daisy fresh. We're coming for you.
So we're in beautiful Puerto Rico at 7 a.m. in my garage, in Gort's garage, and we're getting ready to lift. So we're gonna lift, I'm probably gonna shower, eat something, we'll head to training, we'll start MMA at around 9 o'clock, just because at some point I'm gonna get into a fight with somebody in a jiu-jitsu match.
Every time he's injured with something, some neck problem, back problem, bites or something, so we work around it. People think that we do bodybuilding workout, we go crazy here. No, everything we do here is to benefit on jiu-jitsu. So if it doesn't benefit in jiu-jitsu, it does make no sense to be going crazy in the gym. Yes, explosive. Unfortunately now, Gordon has the stomach problems, right? So he's not able to eat properly. And if you don't eat properly, you cannot be lifting crazy. You cannot be performing really well. And it's not just that, he's been nauseous all the time. So it's very uncomfortable for you to feel nauseous and hungry and have to lift and put so much stress in your body. So it is complicated. It really is stressful. So he's not in the best shape, best form of his life, unfortunately, because of health issues. But he's still, strength-wise, is insane. Maintain. You just work each day a body part, trying to make it stronger, better calves for more standing position ground, or we're trying to do because jiu-jitsu now, especially the screaming wrestling that we're doing, everything now is integrating the jiu-jitsu, the sitting, the ground, to standing up. So everything that we can incorporate to make his legs a little bit stronger, his calves better, his posture better, to come from the ground to up. That's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to make his whole body more prepared for those type of impact and this type of game now. So that's it.
It's pretty light today. Maybe I'll have some energy tonight and do a little pump. I have to eat right now and shower real quick.
One bad thing about Puerto Rico is all these little mosquitoes.
Flies, the fruit flies?
Everywhere.
So fun fact, every bug in that is a mosquito. It just varies what kind of mosquitoes. So a fly is a mosquito, an ant is a mosquito, any bug is a mosquito.
I hate those mosquitoes, that's for sure.
We've been trying to convince John to move out here pretty much since the day we met him. From the second we started training in New York, me and Gary were like, yeah, we gotta move from this place. People don't realize for years, we could only train in the city 2 to 3 times a week because we just couldn't afford to get to the city 5 or 7 days a week. And then we went from like 2, and then we started winning, we got to 3, and then we went to 5, and then John started doing weekend classes, so we're like, fuck, we gotta do the weekend classes. So then we just, as we started to win more, like I won an EBI, and all the money would just go to getting to training until the next EBI. So that's what we like started at like 2 or 3 days and then worked our way to 7. I remember there was one key day where we made some decisions and John's like, okay, well, I'm like, John, this is the final step now. Can I put my house on the market? And he's like, what are you waiting for, hotshot? And I'm like, you realize if I put this house on the market, I'm moving to Puerto Rico with or without you. And he's like, well, I rent and I don't have any belongings besides a nod, so I'm waiting on you now. And I was like, okay. So I listed my house and I started the process of moving. Do a truck tour later, it's a mess right now. I'll have a machete. I'll show you guys that before we leave. I have a machete, so when I go off-roading, if there's something that, like some branches that hit the truck, instead of scratching the paint, I can just get out and cut them. Or in case someone tries to rob me in Puerto Rico, I at least have a machete before I get my guns.
Just a few minutes?
It's like 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's a great gym. It's fine for what we do. It's just not a lot of mat space. So, of course, we've had like thousands of people asking to come visit, but the mat space is already packed with just us and a couple of the local guys on there. So, we've been trying to keep it in-house for now, at least. So, you see right here, this is where the school's gonna be. So you see the Amigos on the little bulletin board there? There's Amigos right there. Right behind Amigos is where the gym is. So you park in this little parking spot here. That's where we're hoping to open up the gym, is right next to that Amigos food market. Okay, so you see this coming up here. So we have basically the equivalent to the Autobahn. This is basically, it's like you pay an extra toll. It's like $1 or something. I don't know how much it is, but whatever it costs, it's worth it. But coming back from training in the opposite direction, there's usually no one on this lane. So you get to just drive however fast you want the whole time. And because it's so narrow, there's no shoulders and there's dividers on each side. So there's no place for any cops to sit. So you basically just get to go as fast as you want with no one else on the road and no situation where you can get pulled over. It's amazing. So this is our gym for now. This is Combat 360. We're training for the foreseeable future until our gym gets finished. Hey, how are you? Hello. Hello.
It's been a dream, and now that dream becomes reality, and it's amazing.
Nicky Rod bought everything but his shirts to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
My name is Fernando Diaz. I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in Puerto Rico for a long time. I help the guys go around here in the island a lot. So I've been here for 36 years, so I know the ups and downs of Puerto Rico. And they already started to realize how Puerto Rico is, and they'll be on the way by themselves. But yeah, to have obviously the DDS squad here with John and Gordon and all the guys, it's a humbling experience that we're having right now with them.
Now, we look at the idea of action-reaction, which is crucial.
These guys train every day. There's no excuses. The way that John explains things, the way the guys treat you when they're training, everything. Joe Gordon can teach you something. It's like having a seminar each day. Most of the people in the Jiu-Jitsu community will kill for this opportunity. And the techniques just keep improving, and that's what we need here, you know?
Now I put weight on the man by taking my hips off the floor. That's what sits him down to the mat every time.
I'm telling you, these guys are in a whole nother level.
Big story moving to Puerto Rico. Everybody really interested. It kind of came out of the blue. What's the last 3-6 months of your life been like for you?
So moving from New Jersey to Puerto Rico was absolute hell. I never liked New York at all pre-COVID. I don't like the people are like angry and aggressive there.
I was not the biggest fan in New York for sure. Especially now with all the COVID, I feel like it's gotten much worse over there.
New York's a strange place. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great place to visit, but I think a lot of people would say, like, I'd love visiting New York, but I don't like to live there. And that's for me. I grew up in the suburbs of Australia, so like I do appreciate having space, having peace and quiet.
I have a confession. The entire squad hated New York City, except for me.
From the second we met John, we've been trying to leave New York. Like, me, Gary, the whole team, we're like, we hate it here, we gotta leave. And John has always been the person who kept us there. If John's in New York, we're in New York. If John's in Tokyo, we're in Tokyo. So we followed John wherever he goes.
There was plenty of times where we're like, all right, let's get out of here. And then nothing came of it and we stayed there for another year, you know?
It's a miracle they lasted as long as they did. For years now, they've been asking me, like, let's get the freaking hell out of here.
And in addition, the COVID lockdown came, and then everyone's like, okay, you can't legally train, we're shutting your school down. Oh, and by the way, we're raising your taxes, we're taking away all of your freedoms, and it's just like, why am I paying all of this money when you're gonna tell me that I can't even work, I can't even do what I need to do every day?
They were like, we want to get out of here, and we're not staying in New York anymore. I was like, okay, where do you want to go? Like, and they're looking at me like I'm supposed to give the answer, and I'm like, dude, I didn't know anything about this freaking country. Like, I've never been outside of New York.
So coincidentally, as the lockdown happened, Mo invited us to come out here for a camp in Puerto Rico.
So we're here in Puerto Rico, in Dorado, Puerto Rico. I've been living here for a little over 2 years now, and Gordon had come and visited me in September of last year. Just, him and some of the DDS guys. I always have jiu-jitsu guys come in, because I don't get to really train, so I bring them in, and they loved it. So it's my first day back on the mats after a month, so just good to be back training with the guys.
How'd you feel?
Exhausted. Yeah, I'm just trying. I'm trying to learn this leg lock game. But, before I used to do these camps where I'd fly guys in, twice, 2-3 times a year. Now these guys live here, so I get to train with them every single day. So it's a blessing, to be honest.
Everyone else is like, man, Puerto Rico, that's awesome. So they would go down for vacations in Puerto Rico and come back saying, man, that place is the best ever. And I've never been to Puerto Rico, so I was just like, well, it sounds awesome.
I spread myself very thin with responsibility, so I was trying to take control over everything, my career, my training, and podcasts, and running my gym, and doing all these different things, day after day. It's literally just an all-day schedule. Like, I just, would drive home, maybe eat for 30 minutes, and then it's on to the next thing, right?
So we were talking about it for just a few months prior. It all happened pretty quick.
Before you know it, then COVID broke out, and New York City essentially got shut down.
I mean, I remember I went to the city the first 3 weeks of the lockdown. I didn't see anyone. I mean, there was no one in New York. I mean, I just drove through New York, not a car, not a person.
COVID, there was so much uncertainty when it first broke out. And, there's a side of it which, when you hear words like pandemic, thinking, oh my God.
One of those first days I went to New York, I walked past a bank. They have the glass sections where you go into an ATM. There was a homeless guy in there smoking a blunt. And I was like, oh, things are changing here. He had the right idea.
It wasn't easy to get training done there. We were limited to a very small pool of tested people, professional athletes and tested people that we could train with. And they were like, well, we can't run the school. The school's not open, no, we just go to Puerto Rico. So here we are.
So I just literally signed the 1-year lease on my apartment without even stepping foot in Puerto Rico, yeah, so that's definitely a commitment.
I moved initially to New Jersey from Montreal to train with these guys, and they're super cool from the beginning, welcomed me with open arms, and I just started seeing progression more and more. The news spread, they were moving down here. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna stay in New Jersey for, the team moves down here, so I'm moving down here, and that's it.
Threw away all my winter clothes, so that's good.
I had 4 cars to ship, including my dad's car. I had all the furniture to ship. I had to get my house listed, and it was just a complete disaster. So once that was over, everything started to calm down a little bit.
If you compare New York to Puerto Rico, it's polar opposite. New York, everybody's go hustle, bustle, everybody's really in a rush and stress here. You know, the island rhythm is good. We get to enjoy some sun.
This is nice.
And then we're coming in on the plane going like, oh, this is my new home.
I'm down for the adventure. Like I'm good with just weighing it like that. But yeah, for me it's perfect. Like, I can wake up, go to the beach, go to train, go back to the beach. It's just a much better lifestyle.
Beautiful, beautiful island. They're blessed with weather and ocean. It actually reminds me a lot of my childhood in New Zealand.
What do I miss about New Jersey? It's mostly just people, man, more than anything else. You know, I have friends and family there that I care about a lot. I think things are great out here. You know, we'll see how it goes, man. I'm excited to see what the future holds. You know, for the team out here.
We kind of realized that as long as we have each other, you know what I mean, not necessarily like our specific gym or the city itself, and we realized that we can keep consistently getting better with a small group.
The best resource you have in life always is people. Okay, people will be the greatest curse you run into, and also the greatest resource and asset.
The best team in the world, that's it right here. This guy, John Danaher, somehow put together the best team in the world, man.
Bueno. Legs out, good, legs out. Second ball. Beautiful. Bueno.
In the 7 weeks we've been here in Puerto Rico, all the people from juniors to seniors have made remarkable progress, and that's been very rewarding. Right alongside them have been some very talented young Puerto Rican youth players.
My name is Luis Collazo. I've been training for 16 years. I'm a black belt from Puerto Rico.
My name is Oscar. I'm a blue belt. I've been training for like almost 6 years. I'm Juan. I'm 17 years old. I'm a blue belt.
Not only Puerto Rico. I think they have the power to change the whole Latin American scene. Argentina, Venezuela, Peru, Costa Rica, Paraguay. I've been getting messages from everybody, just to let them know when the school opens so they can come in to train.
Dude, it's been like crazy. It's been so fast.
Bro, it's amazing. Like, I used to see these guys on YouTube and on Flow like all day. And like the fact of having them here, it's amazing. For me, I don't know how it happened. It should happen. Imagine that you like win the lottery money without even buying a ticket. Like, you're like, what?
We have some talented young Puerto Rican athletes who are working with us, and I'm really hoping to make a positive impact on the Puerto Rican jiu-jitsu scene to the greatest degree that I can in the time available. And it would be a dream come true for me to be able to get Puerto Rican youngsters up to a level in jiu-jitsu which means they can be very successful in competition.
It's truly no easy days here. I do really appreciate that the guys take it easy and they just hit and hit and hit and hit moves. It's really a privilege. They're gonna help the jiu-jitsu here in Puerto Rico.
We've never had like high level everyday training. It's like feeling like a white belt again sometimes. It's in all seriousness.
Right now, I wanna be good. Like, my dream is one day to be able to compete on ADCC. I have these guys and I'm starting to learn from them, so day by day.
Obviously, our approach to the game is significantly different from traditional approaches. It's new here on the island, but it's really gratifying to see how quickly they're picking up these skills that we teach.
The jiu-jitsu community here is going to be looked at differently, and the future, the kids, that's the thing. The guys who are just growing up, they will have the opportunity to grow with the best group in the world.
So, Gordon goes in and attempts the initial Kaitoshi, and he steps out. Now, from here, all Gordon's going to do is he's just going to sit to his butt, he's going to push off of his right leg, and he's going to hit a sub back that pulls Nick directly to his butt. So he pushes off, and he pulls him directly back. So, you force him to stumble with the Kaitoshi, and as he's stumbling, you sit back and you pull him into the back.
About a week ago, I was actually training with Nicky Rod, and in like literally the last minute of the round, I got a knee injury. I just got an MRI yesterday, so I still don't have the results. So I'll find out within the next few days. But I believe I probably partially tore my LCL as well as a tear in my meniscus. It's getting better a lot quicker. I don't think it's something that'll require surgery, but we'll know for sure tomorrow. So I'm hoping I'll be back out there in March or April.
So I got a phone call. I was filming. I was like, man, Nicky's knee got busted today in training and doing a takedown. And Nicky was hitting a takedown coming up from bottom, and they fell awkwardly, and Nicky's knee got hurt. And we're hoping it's not too bad, but this date's not going to work, so we'll have to push it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Roberto's been on fire lately. He's got some huge wins. You know, he's beaten Wagner, Dante. He's been on fire. You know, I believe he's ranked #1 right now at 185.
We certainly hold him in very high esteem. He's got a beautiful jiu-jitsu game, and he really comes in to attack. He's not just happy to win by the minimum amount. He's looking to come in, get to your back, and strangle you.
So that would have been a huge match for me. Obviously, I'm hoping we can reschedule it in the future.
Gordon is very interested in doing the match.
Hey everybody, Michael Sears here in Dorado, Puerto Rico, new home of the DBS here with Gordon Ryan. We have some bad news for you guys tonight. Unfortunately, Nicky Ryan had to pull out of his upcoming match, but Gordon, I think you have some news for us then.
Yeah, so that is bad news, but the good news is that I'm fighting Roberto now, and you know, I'm going to step up and take Nicky's spot to go in and fight Roberto. So the fans win, and I get to have a match with someone who will actually agree to compete against me. It's unfortunate that Nicky got hurt. It was like a week and a half before the match, and I haven't competed in a long time, and I know that Roberto is game to fight anyone, and so I was like, well, if he wants to have a match, then let's have a match. There's nothing better than having two guys that want to go out and submit each other. Like, he goes the whole time, he comes in, he tries to get to your back, he tries to pass you, and he tries to submit you. So I'm excited for this match. I'm excited, you know, for once to actually do jiu-jitsu against a guy who wants to try to finish me.
I was excited. First we were going to fight Nicky, and then Nicky got hurt. Gordon steps in. I'm excited to go in and fight the #1 guy right now.
There's a reason that he's the #1 pound for pound grappler in the world.
The second we got here, I was like, okay, now I can relax. Then I was trying to set up all the utilities for the house, get in contact with people. Then the whole incident with Big Gord happened. So I was like, okay, I moved to Puerto Rico. I thought I was gonna relax. And now everything just got twice as crazy.
Legend. You ready? Yeah, baby. Ready for the main event? Always. Let's go. Always. How do you think Gordon's feeling right now? How is Gordon feeling right now?
Great. Yep. Great. He's a little sweaty, but he's great.
What do you think is going through his mind?
Nothing, man. He doesn't worry about this shit.
No.
He doesn't worry about it, man. He makes it look easy.
What was your relationship like with your dad?
I mean, it's probably the best relationship someone could have had with their dad. I mean, when my parents got divorced, I moved to New York with him, and then my mom moved into a place that was close to our old house. So I mean, once my parents got divorced, I pretty much took care of him. He was retired on permanent disability because he had a bunch of, I mean, his wrist was messed up, his back was messed up, his foot was messed up. He had tons of injuries from work and falling over the years. My whole goal was just to give him the best experiences and give him everything that I possibly could while he was still here. And I felt like I did that. I would take him to all my tournaments.
I love it. You know, I've seen him when he was 15 fight 5 no-gi fights, 5 gi fights, and 5 absolute fights. Win them all. When he was 15 and fighting men. And he beat them all, man. You know, at 15, so I knew he was going to be a natural star at it, you know.
There was like a couple of days where he wasn't feeling good. And I was like, okay, you know, he's always sick. And, you know, he's not the healthiest guy, but he's okay. But he wasn't feeling good and he was resting. I was like, okay, no problem. He was okay for a day and then it got worse over that night. And then he's like, I need to go to the hospital. And I was like, okay. There's been multiple times where he's either gotten too high and he's just been asleep for 4 days, or there's been times where he just was sick for a while and he was fine. But when he's like, I have to go to the hospital, I'm like, okay, something's really an issue here, especially knowing because he hates doctors, he hates hospitals, and I know that he didn't want to go to a hospital in Puerto Rico because they're notorious for not being as good as the mainland hospitals. So I was like, okay, something's wrong. And then the doctor came to see him, everything was fine, vitals, blood work, everything came back fine. And the blood work reassured me because he hasn't gotten blood work in years. And I was like, oh, thank God the blood work's okay. He should be fine. He has some prescriptions that I need to pick up to help the pain in his leg. And I was like, I'm gonna go get you these pain medications. I come back from the pharmacy, I go to give him his stuff, and he's face down in the bed and he's sleeping. And I'm like, okay. He's asleep, maybe he'll feel better. He was in a weird position. He was like laying across the bed. I'm like, okay, no problem. So then I check on him throughout the day, he's still sleeping. I checked on him at 1 a.m. on the night of the third night. And then I woke up early, I heard a banging in Ethan's room. That was trying to fix the mirror, it was off the track. So I woke up at like 7 a.m. I was like, oh fuck, is it Big Gord? I ran in and it was just her messing with the mirror. So I was like, do you check on Big Gord? And she's like, yeah. I checked on him a little while ago, he's still in the same position. And I was like, she's like, I just opened the door. I was like, well, can you go check on him and make sure he's like still alive? And she's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, I'll fix the door. So she goes to check on him. She goes, Gord? I was like, yeah. And then she comes in and she's like, yeah, he's gone. Of course, you don't want to believe it, but you're like, okay, well, there's no way that, logically, you're like, there's no way that she could mess this up. Like, she's not an idiot. Of course, if she says the guy's dead, he's dead. So I was like, okay. So I didn't want to believe it. I walk in and I touch his leg, I touch his hand, I touch his head. Everything's cold. So I'm like, yeah, he's dead. So we both just started crying. I think that people obviously could tell that I cared about him. So I think that, you know, no matter how much you hate, no matter how much of an asshole you are, I think you can feel for someone who lost their dad. You know, very personable, everybody loved him, not really a mean bone in his body. He would, he'd make friends with anywhere you go, he'd make friends with someone. He goes to ADCC, he's best friends with the security guard. Fans come up, ask him to take pictures, he's, yeah, baby, no problem, come on, take pictures. So, you know, he's just the guy you want to be around and just someone who's fun to have around and fun to party with. You know, just a really likable guy.
I couldn't be any prouder of the two of them. Believe me when I tell you. All right?
Sigue girando.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner in the red corner, Gordon Ryan!
I know you're tired, take a few breaths a day, but the arm, did it pop?
I broke in half.
There you hear it, man.
It broke in half.
You weren't going to let it go the second time, right?
Gordon is, a deeply obsessive person, and he's a person who has incredibly high standards for himself in all aspects of the game. There's many people who come into the gym and they drill the same techniques. There's been so many times in my life I will show Gordon something and he'll be like, that's not what you showed me. Like in April of 2017, it was different then. And I'm like, this kid remembered. And now he's every bit as competitive about being the best teacher in jiu-jitsu as he is about being an athlete, and always taking that idea of seeking perfection, and he just takes it further than other people. Gordon is one of those polarizing figures that most people react to on an emotional level. Like when they see Gordon Ryan, they don't just see technique. They look at the person, and the first thing that goes through their mind is, do I like this person or not?
I follow the roots of jiu-jitsu, which is control that leads to submission. Everyone else is just happy with winning, whereas if I win without a submission, it's basically just, I look at it as not a loss, but a failure. I feel like I should be going out and finishing the best guys in the world.
If Gordon retired tomorrow, you wouldn't get an honest assessment of him for a couple of years. There are either people who like him too much and can't see any problems, or people who hate his guts and can't see anything good, and both of them are wrong. There are some athletes who are only truly appreciated when they leave the sport, and I think Gordon's going to be like that.
I know that I'm better than these guys. The fans, and even the haters know that I'm better than these guys. So what I want for the fans is just for them to watch and to study good, actual jiu-jitsu. I'm looking to be the best me that I can be, and that's kind of cliche, but I want to look back every 2 months, every 6 months, every year, every 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and confidently say, I am much better now than I was then.
That's kind of where I was going to stop, Gordon, unless you have anything else you want to say or...
I think that's good. Was that good for you guys?
That was great.
Whatever you guys want. I mean, that was plenty of stuff. If you guys want to do more, we can do more. If that it's good for now, it's good for now.
That's good. That's good. I think see if we can.
There's a lot of shit talk, a lot of stuff, a lot of big Gord stuff people enjoy. So I think that.
I mean, I honestly think it's a different side of you. Obviously everybody sees the side on social media and stuff. I hope people are will be relieved to see that you have a heart too.
Yeah. Sometimes.
No man can stand alone then.
John Danaher somehow put together the best team in the world, man.
No man can stand alone.
The island itself is so nice and it's so close to the continental U.S. Beaches, you have everything you could possibly want you have here besides snow. We're working on building Puerto Rican Jiu-Jitsu up to a situation where we have a homegrown Puerto Rican champion.
Life is a beach, leave it as you can, but leave an helping hand when you can do it. Life is a beach, leave it as you can, but leave an helping hand when you can do it. Life is a beach, I'm living as I can, I will leave an helping hand when I can do it. Life is a beach, I'm living as I can.
Crux, I tried the crux, but once the sand gets in the hose, you just can't get it out. I cleaned up for you guys. We got the jiu-jitsu match, post-training recovery. You guys been feeling it? Yeah. It's tough to take left turns. Training's meant to start at 9 a.m., but as you guys saw, it was like 11 a.m. So I try to get there on time in hopes every day that it will start on time, even though it never does. We're bringing some lower class to this area, but we can make a special occasion right now. 2015, I lost first round. 2017, I lost in the semis. 2019, I lost in the final. So now, if the math's correct, this should be my year.